I wonder what the poor people are doing. No, I don't. Happy Thursday from Pine Creek. Soon I'll be heading off to visit Edith Falls. Now, fortunately for me, the turn-off to that is only just before the police roadblock surrounding Katherine. So by the time I've finished visiting Edith Falls, the roadblock should be down at midday, so I'll be free to enter Katherine. At Katherine, there's two attractions which I'll be visiting. First is Nitlumark National Park, which houses the famous Katherine Gorge. I'm not sure if I'm going to go on a boat cruise or just do a bit of hiking there, so we'll just see what happens when we get there. I'm also hoping to hear back from a helicopter flight company about a tour over the gorges in Nitlumark. So wouldn't that be fantastic if they could proceed after the lockdown falls at midday today. After that, I'll be visiting Katherine Hot Springs, which is right at the edge of town. So that is a good way to thaw myself out. After I've visited those three attractions, then I'll be back at Pine Creek in time for dinner at the Lazy Lizard pub, which is actually across the road, so nice and convenient, which means I can have a drink. Well, I didn't expect that. The police roadblock was well before I expected it to be. In fact, well before the Edith Falls turn-off, so I can't really go there until after midday. So I'll have to go back to Pine Creek, check the news, and then see what happens at midday, and then hopefully I'll be clear to come out here, although the afternoon will be a bit more rushed than I expected. So it's time to go. I've returned to Pine Creek, and I've only just found out that the lockdown for Katherine is going to be extended by another 24 hours. It's been lifted for the rest of the Northern Territory, which really means that there's no point in me trying to see anything in Katherine tomorrow, because I only will have not even half a day to see stuff, and then I have to drive another 2.5 hours to my next accommodation. So I'm just trying to work out what to do for the rest of the day in Pine Creek. Probably go for a swim and then maybe look at the museum and some other things around here. Not as exciting as what's around Katherine, but you've got to make do with what you're handed. It's not even lunchtime and I've got the rest of the day to chill. Maybe it's time for me to get out and about Pine Creek and explore what the town has to offer for tourists. But before I do that, I need to continue my relaxation, because I just can't cope with doing difficult stuff like that at the moment. So just give me 2 or 3 hours and I should be okay to do stuff like that. See you soon. Having humbly accepted punishment for my cockiness the other day regarding lockdown avoidance, I ventured into the local railway terrain to see what's there. And there's some railway junk, well at least I think that's what it is. Here's a railway museum, but damn, it's closed. When I was staying in Jabiru the other night, I thought I was being kept awake at night by the sound of birds that made a sound that sounded like a crying baby. I found them again at Pine Creek, but they're not birds. They're flying foxes. They didn't really take long to go through the railway precinct of Pine Creek, and I didn't really think there was that much. So my opinion is, you really have to be into that kind of stuff to appreciate it, not me. So I thought it might be more interesting to go to the local lookouts, and that's where I am at the moment. So behind me you can see Pine Creek itself, and then if we swivel around in the opposite direction, there's the local reservoir, and that's it. So that's it for the day. I'm going back to freshen up, maybe do a bit of editing, and then I'll go to the Lazy Lizard for dinner, and hopefully I can show you what that's like in there. It's going to be more interesting than this. See ya! Check out the pizza I got. An NT special. So good. Last piece. What a weird day it was today. Some highs and some lows. My biggest disappointment obviously was that I couldn't travel into the Katherine area for Edith Falls or National Park or Katherine Hot Springs. But then thinking about it, I actually couldn't get accommodation in Katherine in the first place, so that's why I'm staying in Pine Creek for 2 nights in a row with the intention for a day trip into Katherine. So had I been successful in booking accommodation in Katherine, I would have been turned back by the police and probably have nowhere to stay. So that's a freaky coincidence. Then the next disappointment was the much hyped local attractions, or in my opinion they're highly hyped. The railway precinct was not that interesting, at least to me. There was only just a few items to look at, and then the museum there, it was closed, but I looked through the window and I reckon you can only spend probably 10 minutes maximum going through that. Then the lookouts, not really much to see, just a reservoir and the view of Pine Creek, partially blocked by trees. So my vote for that. And now for the positives. I reckon for the first time ever on a holiday, I was just forced to do nothing but laze around the pool and just go for a swim for a few hours. So that was an unexpected bonus from my disappointment from before. Then the next positive was that I was able to legally drive at 130 on the highway towards Katherine. So yeah, it's a rare thing that you don't do every day. And then probably another highlight would be my dinner at the Lazy Lizard cafe across the road. I had, what was it called, an NT special, so it had some kind of Aussie meat on it, and probably at least a third of all the other patrons there were ordering pizza too, so it must have a pretty good reputation, and I think it's well deserved. So thumbs up to them for their pizzas and the other food that I've tried tonight and last night. Now it's time to go to bed pretty early because I've got a big day tomorrow. I want to squeeze in as much as possible to make up for today, and I'm not going to sit up late doing any editing either. So until next time, see you later.